what a roller coaster of emotions this afternoon has been, folks. I mean, Michigan started out hot, scored in the first drive. Blake Corum was breaking off runs, breaking off catches, and then everything went sluggish the rest of the first half. Corum gets injured, and I will admit, I thought it was a torn ACL, some torn ligament, something like that, season-ending, career-threatening injury for Blake Corum. And then he comes out after halftime. Then I'm feeling good. I mean, I was like sick to my stomach at halftime, thinking about Blake Corum's future, the future of this Michigan football program, this team. And he comes back, gets one carry, out the rest of the game. Michigan's offense looks completely sluggish. Defense struggled a lot. But then everything kind of goes right at just certain little points throughout the game. A catch by Roman Wilson, a catch by Isaiah Gash when he needed it. Even though J.J. McCarthy really struggled throughout this game, made a lot of poor decisions, Michigan coaching staff really struggled as well. You put the ball on the foot of Jake Moody, 10 seconds left, nearly as time expires, and Michigan gets the win, 19-17. Moody gets 2 field goals in the final 4 minutes of the game in his final appearance at Michigan Stadium, senior day, and he had one of the best performances by a senior we've seen in a long time for this program. So knowing that a win is a win, folks, a win is a win is a win is a win. Give me a go blue down in the comments. It wasn't pretty, and we got to give some credit to the players coming back from the Blake Corum potential injury and a cold day, not a lot of fan support, so a lot of empty stands, but it's better than 10-1, that is for sure. So give me a go blue down in the comments. We're just kind of filming as we go. I jotted down some notes. Producer Jack, the best in the biz, he put a show together for me as I'm getting my thoughts on this game. But my first thought is survive and advance. All right. Last year, there was a lot more of these games, right? Rutgers was a close game last year. Michigan needed a comeback win to beat Nebraska on the road last year. Also against Penn State. And remember that Colson Loveland catch in the fourth quarter, I think it was, looked very similar to the Eric All game-winning catch against Penn State last year. So you had quite a few of these games last year. This is really the first game that we're into the fourth quarter, and I'm thinking Michigan might lose a game today, but they didn't. They won. Survive and advance. You're going to be the number 3 team, likely. Maybe TCU gets a bump above them. Michigan drops to 4 because of the near loss, but a win today. But we'll see what happens. That's all on Tuesday night. We, of course, will be live 6:45 Eastern on Tuesday for the college football playoff rankings. But give me, folks, your one-word reaction to Michigan's 19-17 win over Illinois today, senior day at the Big House. Mine, folks, is phew, whew. I don't even know if that's a word. I don't know how to type it, but I'll try and figure it out. I will join you guys down in the comments. Go ahead and give me your one-word reaction. One-word reaction could be thanks to me for telling you guys about established titles. A great last minute, or just not even last minute, a great holiday gift for you this holiday season. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It's a project based on the historic custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number at a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate, which I have with a crest. We plant 1 tree for every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You could officially call yourself a lord or a lady and include it on your credit card, plane tickets, and dating profiles. It makes a great last-minute gift. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively have a plot next to mine in Eddleston, Scotland. We can create our own little Michigan football kingdom overseas. As I said, makes a great last-minute gift. Established Titles is running an early Black Friday sale right now, up to 80% off, and you can get an extra 10% off using the link you see on the screen. It's also down in the comments and the description of today's video. Established Titles, become a Scottish lord like I am. See that bad boy? Got it right on there. I am officially, boom, I got that. I might just call myself Lord James Yoder here on the show going forward. EstablishedTitles.com/chat. Get an additional 10% off their early Black Friday sales. Link is down in the comments and in the description of today's video. Let's talk a little about Blake Corum's injury. I usually do a Twitter halftime show from my iPhone from home before I come down to the office to film these post-game shows, but I couldn't do it, honestly, right? I felt so bad for Corum as an individual, right? His career, millions of dollars potentially flashing before his eyes. And then, selfishly, I'll admit it, right? As a fan, I'm like, damn, I'd love to see him play against Ohio State next week. I'd love to see Michigan have their absolute best chance to beat the Buckeyes. For Corum to win the Heisman, what would it mean for him? What would it mean for this program? What would it mean for my satisfaction as a fan, right? A Heisman Trophy is a big deal in college football. But he came back out. I'm not sure if he's healthy or not. maybe it's a weird decision to let him come back out if it's only for that one play. I'm hoping that means there's no ligament damage. I'm hoping Michigan has someone on the staff that could at least make that diagnosis without having to do any sort of MRI or anything. But first half, he absolutely tore it up. He proved to you why he is, I think, the Heisman Trophy frontrunner going into next week against Ohio State. If he plays in that game, if he performs in that game, check out his first half stats here. 17 carries, 103 yards, 6 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. Also had 2 catches for 44 yards, and one of those, was like 40 plus itself, and the second one was like, 1 or even for a loss. I can't remember exactly, but was everywhere in the first half. Could have potentially had another touchdown, but did have the fumble on the knee injury, which I actually, looking on replay, I don't know why they called it a fumble. I thought that maybe he had recovered it when he hit the ground, but nevertheless, for the season so far, folks, Blake Corum is just shy of 1,500 yards. So with a big game against Ohio State, he'll certainly go well past that 1,500-yard mark. A touchdown, he'll be at 20 total. He's got 18 rushing and 1 receiving touchdown so far this year. Take a look at where he's at in the Heisman Trophy race against Derrick Henry, against Mark Ingram. So he's still a little bit back from Derrick Henry's pace. And Henry had more touchdowns. He kind of was just racking up 2 touchdown and 200-yard games down the stretch. So Corum is not going to probably beat Derrick Henry's stats for rushing. He has a chance for touchdowns, certainly. But Henry was very strong down the pace. But think back to 2009 and Mark Ingram. He has better stats at this point than Mark Ingram did as a Heisman Trophy winner in a competitive class, right? You should look at the stats of the other guys in 2009 that Mark Ingram beat out. But that's where Blake Corum stands. We will see. Go back to me here on the Corum if you can, Jack. I want to kind of talk more about this. I think that Michigan really hurt not having Diamond Edwards today, right? There's some speculation, which I don't want to get into because I don't want to give details on, but there's some speculation that he's got a very serious hand injury, Diamond Edwards. So will he play next week? Maybe. Will he be a threat in the passing game with an injured hand? Maybe not. Maybe might have a cast or something like that, or a soft cast. So if he's going to be in there, maybe as a running back. But Blake Corum really proved his value by not being in there in a lot of ways to this Michigan offense. I thought Michigan was really running some curious play calling, thinking Isaiah Gash was just getting the ball like on every second down in the fourth quarter. Go back and look at the play charts. It was like every single second down, a run to Isaiah Gash or pass to Isaiah Gash on second down. But they certainly missed Corum in the second half, and not having Diamond Edwards, having a capable backup, I think, to my opinion, proves how much Michigan may need to go into the transfer portal for a running back for next season. Michigan coaching staff, I thought, had a really bad game today. Now, they were dealing with the emotional issue of their team leader, their superstar, Blake Corum, going down and then coming back into the game. So maybe that halftime speech was a little tougher, but Illinois came out and scored a couple touchdowns in the second half, which is uncharacteristic of this Michigan defense, this Michigan team. Just want to look at my running notes here because I think that some of the stuff was just really concerning, right? Michigan didn't sniff the end zone from like the 4-minute mark, 4 minutes into the game, 11 minutes into the first quarter, whatever it is, 4 minutes into the first quarter, 11 minutes left, till kind of the fourth quarter when they were trying to come back and kick those 2 field goals at the end of the game. They didn't sniff the end zone. I guess they were 15, 10-yard line with Blake Corum when he fumbled the ball in that one play, but I think that's coaching. Did they prep for Ohio State all week, right? Were they looking ahead to the Buckeyes? All right, looking back, that's okay, I guess. If they were prepping for Ohio State, extra week of prep, and still got the win, okay. But it was almost a loss, right? This was the first game all season that we were in the fourth quarter, and I'm thinking to myself, Michigan could lose this game, folks. Other things that just to point out here, the Michigan offense, really bad without Blake Corum. I think J.J. McCarthy, the wide receivers, just their inability to have any passes downfield is very, very concerning. Jim Harbaugh now improves to 42-1, though, as a head coach at Michigan at home when leading at halftime. So that is the takeaway on the coaching staff. I thought they had a very bad game, but nevertheless, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Thanksgiving's next week. We're going to have a video for you every single day, and we'll be live for about 2 hours or so on Tuesday night, 6:45 p.m. Eastern for the third to final college football playoff ranking. So make sure you join us, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Passing game for this program is a major, major concern. Andrew Anthony. I can see why he's only got 7 catches coming into this game today. He does not make plays. J.J. McCarthy threw a nice pass to him down the end zone, in between a couple guys, and Andrew Anthony just let the ball go through his hands. It was perplexing. A couple different times they went to Anthony today. He just does not make plays on the ball. Ronnie Bell had a couple good plays today. Roman Wilson, though, he dropped a really easy one in the first half, but redeemed himself with a fourth down catch late in the game. So good to see there. Maybe the only bright spot today, outside of Ronnie Bell, had a couple good plays. Cornelius Johnson, I'll glance at the stats again. He ended up having a handful of catches himself. What did he have? Cornelius Johnson had 5 catches for 38 yards. But Colston Loveland really showed what he could do today. I thought that one pass catch in the fourth quarter was going to be this game's Eric All play against Penn State, right? I thought he was going to take it on that very slow-developing stretch play, kind of across, just kind of sneaking behind the linebackers. Got it. Great presence by J.J. McCarthy to wait on him to get behind the defender, toss over the top, make that catch, but obviously didn't get into the end zone. But the emergence of Colston Loveland, I think, is a great thing for next season and beyond. He's got at least 2 more years, of course, and rarely do tight ends go pro early. So like what I saw there out of Colston Loveland, but Cornelius Johnson, Roman Wilson and Andrew Anthony, those drops, and when you look at this team's passing game, when they've got to go downfield, even when it was like 3rd down and 8, when you're down by a touchdown, you're down by 4 points, whatever it is, they seem to never get open. They seem to never run routes that even put them in the right vicinity of getting open. So I think it's twofold. When they do run the routes, they're not getting open. They're not making the right cuts to fake out the defenders or separate, whatever you want to call it. But also, I feel the routes that these receivers are being put in the position to run from the coaching staff are just incredibly poor, right? If you look at any sophisticated passing game, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Ohio State Buckeyes, they are running plays where you're separating receivers. Some guys are going downfield, some guys are crossing, some guys are here. Michigan never runs that. They seem to just bunch a bunch of guys in one area and run 4 and 5 yard drag routes and curls and things like that. It doesn't seem to be a very sophisticated passing game. J.J. McCarthy, these wide receivers, major concern. I don't think it's anything that's going to change, though. I don't think it's going to change before next week. So the best hope for Michigan to get the win in Columbus, of course, is going to be Blake Corum to return, Donovan Edwards to return, and those two guys to help Michigan put together the same game plan that got the win last year, 42-27 over Ohio State in the Big House. I want to beat Ohio State again. I do. I would love to beat him this year, especially after this emotional roller coaster this game. I'm putting on my hard hat, folks. It is a hard hat weekend, week for this show, for this program coming up. So give me a Bosa. Beats Ohio State again. Give me one down in the comments. If you guys joined our live show on Tuesday, you know what this is. This is the Michigan Workman Horse-like program, Workman-like show, and we're putting stickers to our Super Chatters here on the helmets. I've got John Blaze, our Super Chat MVP, Cool Moti. I've got Wolverine Alaska, Leanne, and Preston Yoder gave me a 20 spot to get this bad boy rolling as people who donated Super Chatted $20+. So subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/MichiganTV, and give me a Bosa down in the comments. It's senior day in Ann Arbor. I understand it's cold, but this could be the last time that Blake Corum plays the Big House, likely. This could be, this is the last time that a lot of players that have made a major impact on this program, Mozzie Smith, Jake Moody, potentially G-Mon Green, although he could return, but he's been there for 5 years. He might decide to move on, go for the NFL, something like that. And Michigan's student section was absolutely abysmal. What are you going home to sleep? It's too cold for you? Do you know where you go to college? It's not Florida State. It's not Miami. You go to Michigan. It's cold. The shots they've shown, I can't even tell you the amount of text I got. I want to read you one text from a friend right here. Look at this. Look at this text. I'm going to read this right here. It says, dude, that was close. WTF, what the fuck is up with your fans that place was empty? And because they kept showing as Michigan is going down the field, the student section, which was 2/3 empty in the fourth quarter. You don't think this team, they could have used some cheering from the fans, from the students, their fellow students? They look up, they see it 2/3 full. Well, why are we going to play for these students if they don't want to watch the game and show us? I thought it was an absolute disgrace. I can't tell you how many people on Twitter, text, etc., have just made fun of. Michigan prides themselves 100,000 strong every game, the biggest stadium, the best fans, etc. Sure didn't look like it today. I understand it was cold, but you're a college student, right? I understand next week's Thanksgiving. You're probably heading out for some travel, etc., whatever it is. Last home game, show up. Stay through the game. What are you, going back to party? As I've said in the past, sneak the booze in the game. Do your drugs at the game if you have to, but stay at the game. leaving the stadium at halftime and not coming back is absolutely disgraceful as a Michigan student. I think if I was president of the university, which I probably should be, that you just kind of figure out who's leaving the game at halftime, revoke their tickets, don't let them come back, sell the tickets for cheap, give them away to high school kids, something like that. But leaving the stadium in a close game like this, as you saw your superstar running back Blake Corum get injured, stick around and support the damn team. It's absolutely disgraceful to see the student section 2/3 empty in the fourth quarter of a game Michigan absolutely needed to win on a path, what I'm expecting to be a path to the first national championship in 25 years. So I'm pretty disappointed with the fan base. Want to kind of get that off my chest. Make sure you guys are down in the comments. Type in Beat Ohio State again. Type in Bosa and just lighten it up. Let's get 1,000. Let's get 2,000 comments. Make sure that Ohio State fans, which are already infiltrating the comments all week, don't kind of take over the comment section. All right. We'll have a more prepared show, a more structured show for you tomorrow, our Overreaction Sunday show. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I will see you tomorrow. Go Blue.